Hey book nerds, welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to talk about my least favourite Agatha Christie books. This is kind of a sequel video to another video I filmed, which I'll link down below, which is where I talk about my favourite Agatha Christie books and kind of give a place where I think you should start if you want to read Agatha Christie and you've never read any before. This is kind of the opposite of this, so these are the ones that I don't necessarily hate all of them, but I really think they're very poor examples of her writing skills, and I would generally avoid them. I definitely would not start by reading these. So yeah, just as you're aware, just to make you aware, I've read all of her Poirot books pretty much. I think there's only 2 or 3 I haven't read. I've read all of her Miss Marple books, and I've read a fair few of her standalone books as well. So these really are, out of like her 100 and something books, the ones that I dislike the most. I'm not going to spoil anything. My main problem with most of these is that they are poor murder mysteries, so while I won't be spoiling anything, I will be saying for a lot of them that the endings were unsatisfactory without explaining why they were unsatisfactory. But yeah, without further ado, the first one I'm going to talk about is The Clocks, which I actually own in physical form in this collection. This is bad because the first time I read it I absolutely hated it. The second time I read it, it's better than I remember it being. The main problem with this is there is one clue in it that is incredibly easy to figure out, as in you figure it out about 2 seconds after it happened, and for the entire book characters just keep talking about this one clue, saying they can't work it out, and it doesn't make any sense because it's a child could work it out. So it's very infuriating. The rest of this book is actually quite good, which is why I enjoyed it more when I reread it, because I remembered that one clue being the only thing in it that mattered, and that's not true. That one clue, really infuriating as a reader, to have people not work out what you've worked out for about 100 and something pages. Yeah, so there's that one. The next one I'm going to mention is Elephants Can Remember, which is one of her later books. A couple of these will be her later books. There is a period where it's generally agreed that she lost her touch a little bit, and sadly this is one of these books. So this is again a murder that's solved retrospectively, so you think I'd love it given how much I love Five Little Pigs, but it's nothing like it. So this is about a woman and a man who were found shot dead, both of them, and no one's sure whether it's a suicide pact, whether it was murder, whether it was murder-suicide. No one knows what happened, and again I believe it's like the daughter of this couple wants to know the result. My main problem with this book is that very early on you find out that there are twins involved. There is the wife had a twin, and from that point on it becomes incredibly easy to work out what happened, even without me giving you any spoilers or any more plot information. I'm sure you already have an idea, and you're probably right about what that idea is. So yeah, it's just not a compelling mystery at all. It's really easy to work out, which is unlike Agatha Christie. And it's got a weak conclusion and fairly weak characters as well. Normally Agatha Christie writes really in-depth, detailed characters, but I don't even remember the characters in this particularly. So yeah, it's a bit disappointing. Next book I'm going to mention is 3-Act Tragedy, and this, again, I find incredibly easy to work out. This is about there's like a dinner party and one of the guests dies, they get poisoned, their drink gets poisoned, and then a couple of nights later the exact same dinner party happens. I forget why, there is probably a logical reason why, and then someone else gets poisoned and murdered in the exact same way, and it's just Poirot trying to work out what happened. The problem with this, and I don't want to say much because I don't want to spoil it, because maybe you'll read it and it won't be obvious to you, but there's a character in there who, the way, like the character that they are, makes it clear to me what, not only that they did it, but why they did it within like a couple of pages. And especially the name of the book also kind of gives it away, 3-act tragedy, in the format of the book because it's told in a play format. And yeah, see, I already think that I've said enough for you to guess the ending as soon as you start reading this book, and I promise I'm not trying to spoil these. It's just, like I said, the problem with most of these is that they're too easy to guess what's happened, and that's why I dislike them. So the penultimate book I'm going to talk about is Crooked House, and the only problem with this book is that it hasn't aged well at all. At the time, it was incredibly shocking, the ending, and it was incredibly revolutionary, especially for the whole thriller murder mystery genre. The problem is that it's not shocking or revolutionary today, and the only reason the ending is surprising is because Agatha Christie was counting on that shock factor. So it's incredibly easy to guess who the murderer is because the murderer is acting exactly like a murderer. The only reason it's a twist is because in her day you wouldn't expect that character to be a murderer. So yeah, it's not. I've read this one and I've also seen the drama, and it's just not worth it really. There's not anything else in the story to add to it, so as soon as you guess the ending, that's pretty much it. And yeah, it's just a very disappointing ending. It's a shame because it should be recognised that she did revolutionise and introduce this concept, but it doesn't really hold anything for a modern audience, sadly. And the final book I'm going to talk about is going to be a massive surprise to most people, probably. That is Murder on the Orient Express. I really don't like this one. I've read it, I've seen it about 5 times in various formats. It's one of her most famous works. It's considered to be amazing and on the same level as And Then There Were None or The Murder of Roger Ackroyd, but it's just not, it doesn't make any sense to me, the ending, and I'm not going to spoil it because the whole point of it is that it's revolutionary because of the ending, but I don't think the story in itself is interesting. I don't find the characters memorable or anything like that, and the ending just, I don't buy it. It's the one Agatha Christie book where I reach the ending and I'm like, I don't believe that that's possible, like I don't think that would ever happen. And yeah, it's kind of disappointing because everyone raves about this book and everyone loves it, and I'm just there like mega Agatha Christie fan, and I don't like it. So yeah, definitely don't start with Murder of the Orient Express if you start reading Agatha Christie. I mean, you can if you want, but please don't, because it'll make me very sad. Yeah, so those are my least favourite Agatha Christie books. Hopefully this has been helpful for you if you've never read any Agatha Christie and you were looking where to start. If you have read any Agatha Christie and you've read these ones, do let me know what you think about them. I know it's a bit controversial, some of them, particularly Murder on the Orient Express. But yeah, I'd love to discuss it more with Agatha Christie fans. If you did like this video, please give me a thumbs up, it helps me out massively, and I hope to see you next time.